everyone. Crazy news cycle this week. But yesterday, I, as well as a few other members of Congress, met with the Speaker, and we really came to some agreements on additions to the border bill, of which we have the votes to pass. It is arguably going to be one of the most conservative pieces of border legislation to come out of the House in the last 40 years. And it's really interesting because as of right now, Mayorkas and the administration are now trying to do this emergency backtracking of the rhetoric that they've really been pushing out over the last couple of years, because they are seeing in their polling numbers for 2024 that a majority of Americans, regardless of party affiliation, are highly uncomfortable and do not like what's currently happening at the southern border. We are seeing a mass influx of people, and millions of people have come here just under this administration alone. So we are going to do something about it. We have the legislation that's dropping. We'll be voting on it and passing it today. So we are hard at work. Fear not. We are going to do something about this.
I think it's great. I think it's great how she pointed out how people from, regardless of party affiliation, the majority of people in the country do not want to have the immigration situation as in its current state. Yeah. They don't feel comfortable with it. They don't feel safe with it. Yeah. It's out of control and they want something to be done.
Yeah.
But why do we have to pass new laws in order to have that? Like, did Biden completely get rid of all of our border laws and securing our nation to begin with? Because why is that a thing?
I think it goes back to the old adage of, if you're not actively doing something, then you're not really found to be useful. So like in big corporations, big government, these things, if we're not actively passing new laws, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the government has an incentive, or the people in the government have an incentive to over legislate, or else they wouldn't be necessary.
True. Yeah. We have to be doing something to be a thing.
To be relevant.
But rather than just enforcing the laws that we already have, we're going to make new ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is good, but at the same time.
Well, some of it has to do with time-limited funding.
The authority allowed U.S. officials to turn away migrants who come to the U.S.-Mexican border on the grounds of preventing the spread of COVID-19.
COVID-19, right. Yep,
Before that, migrants could cross illegally, ask for asylum, and be allowed into the U.S. They were then screened and often released to wait out their immigration cases. Under Title 42, migrants were returned over the border and denied right to seek asylum.
So Title 42 was a way for the Trump administration to leverage the pandemic to help enforce their border policy.
Title 42 turned away more than 2.8 million migrants.
Wow. And so now that that's over, because that was related to COVID, and we've, the WHO and all the other alphabet soup organizations have declared that the COVID emergency is now, the pandemic's no longer happening, right? So that's no longer relevant. So then, because that was based upon the COVID policy, now they have to have new legislation to do that. But again, though, I mean, like back to your point, like why do we have to pass new legislation? Like, don't immigrate illegally. There's a legal process.
Why have a border
legal
at
process. All? Well, but so here's the thing. There is a legal process. There's a legal way to do it. It's broken. It doesn't work well. It's not efficient. Why don't we spend all this time and energy fixing the legal process?
Yeah.
Rather than fixing the illegal process.
Yeah.
Like just like stop the illegal process. Like we can totally shut that down.
Yeah.
We know we can.
But
right?
like you said on your previous episode, reacting to another video, is we want migrants to come in.
Yeah, we do.
The country was built on migrants. Like,
absolutely.
It's a good thing, but just do it the right way.
And we need to fix the right way.
Yeah.
Because it does, like, I don't know, it does take sometimes years for that to be, for that process to be completed. And it's unfortunate. Our legal system is cumbersome.
Yeah.
And so why don't we streamline that? Why don't we make it, why don't we fix the problem? Like, really, and really, like, to me, if I was in Mexico or in some country that didn't have the amenities that we have access to in our country, I would want to come. Yeah. I would want to bring my family.
100%.
100%. Right. I would. I understand. I get it. Like, but so I feel bad for these people too, because of the bad actors and because of the blowing the political situation, into this huge mess in the media and in culture and everything. Like, these good people that have great intentions that just want to seek a better life for their family, they kind of get denied, or they kind of get the backlash, and it disincentivizes good things.
Yeah.
The way the process is being carried out.
Yeah.
But we would love to know what you think. Like, are you being affected personally by the influx of people coming in? Are you living on a border state? Do you see that happening in your town? Like, I can imagine that would be very scary. And we've talked about too, like, we live in Arizona. Like, is it going to get really bad? Are we going to have to move? Are kids going to be safe if we stay here? It's a scary thing. So let us know. And
it's interesting too, being affected directly versus indirectly. Like, are you being affected by the increase in costs of everything, right? Like, inflation's out of control. That is one of the reasons why inflation's is increasing. It's not the reason, but it's one of the reasons, because this money's got to come from somewhere, and these resources come from somewhere. Yeah. And we are pouring money into these resources. The other thing too, have you been to the ER recently? You know, like when I had my event, I rode in an ambulance to the ER, waited 4 hours in the waiting room to get into the ER because the ERs are overwhelmed with.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then it was 26 hours before you even got to a bed.
To a room.
A room.
Yeah.
Because they're just overwhelmed. The resources are being overwhelmed already. And if we continue to overwhelm the resources we have here locally, what are we going to do? And you are not going to be able to get the care you need.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to the citizens of the country, you know, in some respects, right? Yeah. So we know this is an emotionally charged issue. It's a hot button issue, as they say. We want to hear your thoughts. And keep it clean, keep it classy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Clickety click. We'll see you next time on an excellent episode of The Value Script.